Well, Alaka'y is a big place, but sure don't hear anything here. I don't know. I still got hopes. I mean, some of these species people go for years without seeing, and
Yeah, but Dave, it's been 3 years and we've been in here every nesting season and we haven't got a response. So quiet.
But what happened to the o'o? Nobody knows for sure. The ancient bird catchers hunted the o'o for its yellow leg feathers, a prime source for Polynesian capes, but the Europeans with their animals and diseases also took their toll. The o'o is symbolic of the plight of Hawaiian birds. In one of the greatest mass extinctions of modern times, nearly 70% of all native Hawaiian birds have disappeared forever. Others barely cling to existence. One of the survivors rarely seen is the Akiapola owl, the bird with 3 bills in one, like nature's own Swiss Army knife. It searches in the forest for insects and grubs, and when it finds them, its bill becomes a simple pair of forceps. At other times, with the upper part of the bill held out of the way, the lower part becomes a woodpecker's pick. Then, when it finds a bug, the bill is rearranged into a flexible probe. Why should such a versatile bird be endangered? Here is one reason. It has no natural defense against introduced nest raiders, like rodents. But at least one Hawaiian native is delighted that rodents are here. This young pueo is just getting acquainted with mice. Most birds, at times, are birds of prey. The palila normally uses its finch-like bill for seed cracking, but when it has nestlings to feed, it hunts insects. Insects are also vital to the babies of the Hawaiian thrush. When the first ancestral finches arrived and laid their eggs, a huge supply of baby food was already waiting. Hawaii had insects in abundance, and they had been here for millions of years. Two picture-wing flies engage in territorial battle. They are only one of 800 Hawaiian species, all evolved from a single ancestor. Insects are evolution's most dramatic showcase. It's a carnivorous caterpillar. In time, it will turn into an ordinary-looking moth. But now, unlike any other caterpillar on Earth, it ambushes its prey. Yet even this formidable creature is threatened by aliens. Ants were not part of Hawaii's original landscape. Until Europeans accidentally carried them here in their ships, there were no ants in Hawaii. They have caused havoc in the islands, for there are few insects more aggressive and powerful than the ant. This carnivorous caterpillar carves a slot in a leaf and lies in wait. If the ant touches the caterpillar, it's caught. The ant sends out a distress signal. The big-headed ant evolved in Africa, where it became a ferocious competitor. Native insects in lowland Hawaii have rarely survived their invasion. For a long time, few scientists realized what was being lost in the Hawaiian insect world. In fact, until recently, no one had ever heard of a caterpillar that caught live prey. Biologist Stephen Montgomery has discovered the same behavior in 18 other species of caterpillar. Hawaii's native insects are among its least known but most important natural resources.
Hawaiian insects have many unique features about them. 99% of them have evolved right here in Hawaiian Islands, and if they go extinct locally, well, that's it. Whether they be leafy species or six-legged ones or feathered ones, they have a right to continue inhabiting this part of the world, and it's really our obligation to make sure that what we do doesn't displace them from their only home.
If there is a general truth about the distribution of Hawaiian wildlife, it's the higher, the purer, and it's not possible to go higher than this. Mauna Kea. When measured from the sea floor, it is the tallest mountain in the world, more than 6 miles up.
In Hawaii, the fascination of hiking up to a peak you haven't been on before, the fascination is that you don't know what you'll find. From a distance, Mauna Kea looks empty, but the amazing thing is that when you turn over a rock, there's life there.
Life at this altitude is harsh. Bugs and spiders survive because of a kind of antifreeze in their blood. Others become victims. A moth, blown up here and dying of cold, attracts the attention of a Hawaiian wolf spider lurking in its cave. Feasting on its wind-blown prey, the wolf spider survives in much the same way as the first insects to live on Hawaii's bare lava flows. Up here, many of the native creatures, such as the wikio bug, are recent discoveries. If anything is beyond the reach of alien invaders, this insect should be. But history has shown there is no safety in isolation. Now, at least, it's been discovered. It has come to human attention, and for some native species, this may be their only chance for survival. Species extinctions have been described as popping rivets on spaceship Earth. And they're popping so fast in Hawaii that sometimes you have to do a spacewalk. The island of Molokai. Up here, an insect is missing. Something is supposed to pollinate these bizarre plants. But the natural pollinator may be extinct or so rare that the plants need help. A moth could easily flutter from flower to flower, but for humans, the task is not so easy.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Got a couple other plants over here, Ken. This one's kind of hiding back in the bush. It's got buds on it, just a few, very early. This one's going to be flowering for quite a while.
Now, field biologists are the pollinators, and they must accomplish their task perched on the tallest sea cliffs in the world. One moth stand-in is collecting pollen. Another delivers it. Only about 150 of these brigamia plants remain on the cliffs of Molokai, and each one is to be cross-pollinated. The natural pollinator has never been seen, so its identity remains a mystery. Meanwhile, the plants here may not survive without perpetual human help. And how long can this go on?
So we'll go in next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into Kauai Canyon. And
the brigamia can be preserved by planting its seeds in an emergency shelter for endangered plants, a rescue technique that can be applied elsewhere in the world.
look for the Hibiscadelphus.
Scores of Hawaiian plants are cultivated here in the hope that someday they can be replanted in their natural habitat after it's been repaired. But that won't be easy. Hawaii has one big problem with many manifestations: alien species brought in by humans. The banana poka was imported as a beautiful garden plant. In Hawaii, it becomes a rampaging vine that strangles native forests. The blackberry from North America, an inoffensive bush at home, becomes, in Hawaii's subtropical climate, a vast, suffocating blanket. These and hundreds of other alien plants run rampant in the islands. And in the dead of night, their trail into the forest is blazed by another alien. One that not only eats the native plants, but also sows the seeds of alien ones. Its ancestors were among the first creatures that humans brought here. Of all the scourges of the native Hawaiian rainforests, it is now the worst. The feral pig is a cross between animals that arrived in both of the great human invasions, small Polynesian domestic pigs and big European boars. Now it has invaded every island and enjoys a life free of predators, natural predators. This is the front line in the battle to save Hawaii's vanishing rainforests. The dogs and men work for the U.S. National Park Service. It's dangerous work, but it's demanded for the sake of conservation. By examining the animal's teeth and working out its age, the men can determine the success of the program. When few young pigs are found, the population is on the decline.
More 3 on the top, 130 wrapped in. We were up one more, 32 months. This is...
Hard choices have to be made to save what remains of the island's forests. But today, conservationists agree that pigs and rainforests are incompatible. Hawaii contains 1/4 of all United States endangered species, many of them sheltered in the rainforests. But the vegetation in Hawaii has no thorns or chemical defenses to stop grazing animals from destroying it. The forests must be surrounded by fences, or they'll end up like this, eaten to the ground by cattle and pigs. A pig wallow becomes a puddle, a breeding place for mosquitoes that carry bird malaria. At the same time, the pig wallow starts the process of erosion. Before pigs, the forest could soak up most of Hawaii's huge rainfall. Now the upland soil floods down and joins the runoff from the lowland fields of sugarcane and pineapples until, together, they pour into Hawaii's famous Blue Sea. The battle for Hawaii's forests is not just a battle for trees, birds, and insects. It's an effort to keep the land itself together, to keep the basis of the forest from being flushed away. And once it's in the sea, it's not simply turning the water red. The soil